Where did those 50 years go?
Welcome back to Still Groovy, the show about good living, hard-won wisdom, and staying hopeful in a broken world. I'm Sunshine, and this is my Marty.
Today we're talking about game night. Specifically how a deck of 24 cards and a game called Euchre nearly set our kitchen on fire 3 separate times.
And by set the kitchen on fire, I mean 2 grown adults once stood up and put on their coats in the middle of a hand and left without saying goodbye.
That was 1987, the Hendersons, and we still haven't fully decoded what happened.
Oh, I decoded it fine. Karen Henderson was cheating, and Doug knew, and neither of them could look us in the eye when we figured it out.
For anyone who doesn't know Euchre, it's a Canadian card game, Ontario especially, played with 4 people in 2 partnerships, and it is deceptively simple and almost mystically good at revealing character.
It is the MRI of friendship. You learn more about a person in 4 hands of Euchre than in 4 years of polite dinner conversation.
The deck has only 24 cards, 9s through aces, and the whole game turns on one moment where someone decides whether to pick up the trump card or pass. That decision tells you everything.
Marty went to a Catholic high school, and those boys played Euchre in the cafeteria every single lunch hour. He came into this marriage a Euchre shark.
I am not a shark. I just know that if you're dealt both bowers and the ace of trump, you order it up every time, no hesitation.
He once ordered it up with almost nothing and went alone and made it, and I almost divorced him on the spot because we were partners and I had a beautiful hand he wasted.
I knew what I was doing. I had a read on the table.
You had a read on the table and a very smug face, which brings me to friendship number 1 we lost. The Pattersons, 1993.
I was on dialysis at home by then. We'd built the whole setup right here on the property, and game night was genuinely one of the lifelines that kept things feeling normal.
We needed it. Those years were hard. 3 kids, Marty's health, and we were holding this family together with both hands. So Friday nights with cards and people we loved mattered enormously.
Rick Patterson was a lovely man, but he could not stand to lose, and he had a habit of what Euchre players call a renegade, playing the wrong suit when he had the right one and then denying it.
A renegade costs your team 2 points as a penalty. In Euchre, you only need 10 points to win. 2 points is a catastrophe.
Rick reneged. We called it gently because you have to call it or the game means nothing. And he said we were wrong, we were ganging up on him, and then he brought up a thing from a barbecue in 1991 that had nothing to do with cards.
That is the tell. When someone drags in the barbecue from 2 years ago, the card game stopped being about cards some time ago.
There is a systems principle at work there. What looks like a conflict at the surface is almost always a conflict about something that was never resolved below.
Marty, English?
They were already unhappy about something else, and Euchre handed them a reason to say so.
We apologized, they went home, we called twice, and that was that. 20 years of friendship just sort of evaporated, and it still sits a little wrong.
Friendship number 2 was faster and funnier, the Kowalskis 2001. And what happened was Sonny here made a call so bold I still talk about it.
I had the right and left bowers and 2 other trump. I went alone. I scored 4 points in one hand, and Tony Kowalski said I must have seen his cards.
He said it as a joke mostly, but there was a frequency underneath it that was not a joke.
I was not going to sit in my own kitchen and be called a cheat over a card game. I showed him my hand, card by card, explained every play, and invited him to walk me through how I could have cheated from across a wooden table.
She was calm, thorough, and absolutely terrifying. I have seen her like that maybe a dozen times in 55 years, and I always think I am so glad she is on my side.
Tony apologized. They stayed, and we actually had a lovely rest of the evening. But something shifted. They drifted, we drifted, and within a year game night was just us and the kids.
Which brings up something worth saying. Some friendships have a natural lifespan, and a card game sometimes just marks the end of something that was already winding down.
That is the generous reading, Marty. I also think some people just cannot handle being beaten by a woman, and when it happens enough times, they manufacture a reason to leave.
Both things can be true. Now, friendship 3 is the one that actually taught us something we still use.
The McNeils, 2009. Lovely couple, newer friends. And what went wrong was us.
We played too hard. Sonny and I have been partners so long that we communicate without speaking, and to a new couple sitting across from us, that can feel less like a game and more like a test they're failing.
Janet McNeil told me afterwards, and I respect her so much for saying it directly. She said, playing with you two feels like showing up to a recital when you thought it was a sing-along.
That landed. It landed hard.
We had turned a friendly game into a performance. We were not being mean, but we were not being welcoming either. And there is a real difference.
There's actually a concept in game design called play to the table. You modulate the intensity of your play to keep everyone engaged and having fun, not to maximize your own score.
Which is, if you think about it, just what a good host does. A good guest does it too.
We reached out, we owned it, and Janet and Phil McNeil actually came back. They're still in our lives. That one had a good ending because someone was honest.
The lesson from all three is that a game is a social contract. When somebody breaks the spirit of that contract by cheating, by accusing, or by dominating, the game just makes it visible faster.
Our grandkids Terry and Robbie say their generation doesn't really play card games, and I think that's a genuine loss, because you cannot learn what you learn from an evening of Euchre by staring at a screen.
Terry actually sat down with us last Thanksgiving, and by the second hand she was sandbag calling Trump like she'd been doing it for years, 15 years old, sharp as a tack.
There's a real skill being built in card games, reading people, managing risk, holding information, communicating with a partner without speaking. Those are life skills wearing a fun disguise.
The tip we'd give anyone starting a game night: set the table before you deal the cards. Talk about what kind of game you're playing, competitive, casual, teaching mode. One sentence, it prevents about 90% of the trouble.
And if someone reneges, call it kindly, once, clearly, and then let it go. Making a person feel small over a card game is never worth it.
We've had game nights in this log home that were some of the most joyful evenings of our lives. Good people, good light, something warm on the stove, and a deck of cards on the table.
Those evenings don't cost anything, and they build something that money genuinely cannot buy. If you have people you could call for game night and you haven't in a while, call them this week.
Life is short, and the kitchen table is one of the best places we know to spend it.
Take care of each other. We'll see you next time on Still Groovy.